a logo. So I'll send one this way if you guys want to look at it.
What was it?
It's a 1966 Bultaco Lobito, and that picture was taken in October of 1972, about 2 months after I purchased the bike from my cousin. My mother was going to kick me out of the house because I spent my whole summer earnings on this bike. So anyway, I totally forgot about that bike. It's not Japanese, John.
Correct.
So I had to do something.
The company.
I can tell you that. His name is Francis-Barnett, and he was...
He reversed the name, or his name,
Yes.
to create Bultaco.
I had to do some research today because all I knew about that bike was that it cost me $275. It had no rear brake. That was my entire summer's money working at the graveyard and then at the railroad. So the other railroad. Yeah, the other one. So anyway, I'm just going to give you some short notes here. The Bultaco, the company was formed in 1958 after Francesco Paco Bulto, director of he was the director of Montesa Motorcycle, and him and a senior fellow there, Per Merrier, I'm not very good with these languages, but the two of them had a falling out over the racing division. The other partner said, or the director said, you know what, we're spending too much money, we got to tighten our belts. He said, I'm out of here. So he started up Bultaco in '58 and officially started producing bikes in '59. And they introduced, out of their headquarters in Barcelona, Spain, they started introducing a pretty fine racing bike. They covered trials, they had some good street enduro bikes, and there's just a list of them. They had over a dozen models that I could find. Some of the names which have actually followed now are in Japanese bikes. Kawasaki has coined the one, the Sherpa, which was their trials bike. They had a Trala, which is the Spanish for the Whiplash, which was kind of their, it's hard to describe. They're like enduro bikes, but they were 250cc. They were quite powerful for their time. This little 100 that I had, they branded it as a 10 horsepower bike in an engine that could produce 30. So it was a 55-mile-an-hour bike in 1966, and the one I had was naked totally. It didn't even have fenders, and I used to go to the gas station with a baby food jar full of 40 or 30 weight oil, pour it in the tank, and then shake the bike at the gas pump, and start it up, and then head like hell for the bush because it wasn't a street legal bike. Anyway, just to sum up, Bultaco, it was defunct in 1983. They reopened again a couple more years later, but again it closed. And in I think 2013 they announced that they're going to start producing electric bikes, but totally just, I think they bought the emblem. I can't say for sure. There was a legend, according to the grandson, that Mr. Bulto wanted to be buried in his Bultaco t-shirt and have his mustache properly waxed. That was it. So I'll check with you on that, Dave. But anyway, that was my first bike. If you have any questions, I can't answer a lot. I got into trouble a number of times on it. I fell off. We were riding in a gravel pit one night right after school, because I was still in high school. And we had this trail set up, and we would run around up this grassy hill and then go over this little knoll and down into a field. Well, a great big front loader had removed a few hundred yards of dirt over the week for a job, and I went over and I fell about 20 feet straight down off the edge of this cliff and bent the front forks, and then it was a basket case after that. I really never did ride it. It just continually failed on me. But if you notice in the pictures, it had all of the racing features of the day. It had a fork brace, it had an expansion chamber. If you look at the photos of the actual street model, it was a muffler with a shroud or leg protector on it. This thing had no air cleaner, just a velocity stack, no back fender, and even the rear brake was broken. So I learned to ride a bike with a front brake only. And that was about it. Any more questions, if anybody wants to?
The Motrellis was the one of the top of the line race bikes for motocross.
Yeah, they had specifically they listed some of them. The Astro was their flat tracker.
Yeah.
And then they had a bunch of Matador, a Mercuro, a Frontera Alpina. These were motocross. The Matrolla was one.
That is the basically the top of the line race bike.
Yeah. I got some info on it. The Lobito I had, they actually had a street and a motocross version of it, and they also made mini bikes at one time. And somewhat everybody, I think, in the 70s was into mini bikes. Well, that's all I was supposed to do. Get up here quickly and get out of here.